if it works. Oh, alrighty, boob tubes and tickety talks and Marty, you'll be putting this up on your YouTubes, won't you?
Yep, certainly. I.E Media.
And all links will be left as and when we can. But this is just a test run of something moving forward, and because of the TikTok gods, I need to do all sorts of hoops before I'm actually allowed to screen share, which would have gave you a lot better fucking picture than what we're doing right now. So this is just a test run as such. So how are you keeping, Martin, anyway?
Yeah, good. Yeah, plodding along.
Studio's looking sweet, mate, as always.
Oh, cheers. Thank you, man.
I'm just trying to figure out how to... Oh no, it's alright, I can do it here. I think. Watch this, we'll get fucking kicked off of TikToks. But, aye, so me and Marty just came up with the idea to talk a wee bit about Charlie Veach. Was the other guy's name? Because I keep calling him JD Sports or something.
Is it Fred, I believe? Yes.
No, the other guy that just follies around eating Charlie Veach's dangleberries.
I.E Media.
I had to, man. So, and by all accounts, the people in the area, they're saying there's a wee cabal fucking gathering round them, you know. Whatever happened, why did the Love Police ever need fucking bodyguards and shit, you know? It doesn't kinda make sense, but...
Yeah.
You do live and you do learn.
Seems to be a whole host of these new YouTubers that call themselves Auditors popping up now around Manchester city centre. There's like a tribe of them, and they seem to follow the main two, and everyone wants to be like Mike, sort of thing.
You mentioned that word earlier on, and it just went right over my baldy napper, mate. Maybe if I had heard, I'd have caught it. Auditors, is that what they're calling themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not sure, because there's the guy Auditing Britain that goes about, gets into altercations and stuff like that. So I'm not sure if he was the first sort of one to propagate that name, because I don't think Veach and them boys ever referred to themselves as auditors back in the day. But it just seems to be like this new craze of these new YouTubers. Yeah, but the trends will catch on, won't they? But unfortunately, it's not good, is it?
See, I think that's an important point that you mentioned there, Martin. A lot of new YouTubers, because I commonly get people bounce up on my page and they're like, anybody, the Federal Reserve is the fucking federal and private and all that, you know? And you're like, aye, man, fucking... But they're going through the same thing, like, well, Martin, I know you from Bilderberg primarily, man. It was the first time I met you, man. I don't know if you can remember me literally losing my voice. But that was messy as that was messy good and messy bad at the same time, man. I'm so glad I went though. In hindsight, so glad I went. It was a real experience, you know, and the sheep pen they created for us all was just like ironic as fuck. And like there's
fun times, man. It was very fun times. That's like you say. That's where we met. We go sort of way back, don't we, into all this sort of alternative media, or what you used to say back in the day, this so-called independent media. And the more you sort of research into things and look at people, you realise that they're not so independent, as you've discovered many times through your investigations and research.
I used to call it a cock train, you know, just feeding each other. Just one big cock train. Then it was the Truth and Industrial Complex, where you seen it was like they were talking, getting everybody obsessed with the pyramid, while operating a pyramid scheme, more or less. For your mind and your soul, buy my boner pills.
Yeah. And it seems that way, doesn't it, now, even with these groups that call themselves the left or the right or whatever, which I know we're going to get into further down the line. But Yeah, these auditors though, they seem to be really poking the bear, don't they? And there just seems to be no respect for other people anymore.
What was the word? Dehumanitizing people. That's not the right word. They're not humanizing the downtrodden. They're fucking dehumanizing them. That's the word I'm looking for. Dehumanizing them. And I shared a video with you in the group, the boys earlier on, like 10 years ago in George Square. We anonymous. Everybody's as mad as a hatter, man. Fucking, but at least we were putting up soup kitchens, feeding the homeless and giving them out free weed. You know what I mean? It's a lot better than bouncing about with bodyguards ready to kick you in the fucking teeth if you dare to go up to them with a camera, which they've all made their fucking living off of for fucking the past 10, 15, 20 years, man. But I've always been sceptical of the controlled alternative media, because it's...
Yeah. And you should be, definitely. This is what a lot of new people now that are getting into these groups are not realising, that it's like the forces behind these groups and the agendas why. And, you know, they will have many valid talking points and arguments and concerns, but I'd say that the people at the top of these groups and factions are playing on people's genuine concerns and using that to misdirect, you know, from any kind of real opposition to the elites, let's say, if you want to put it like that.
Mate, it's as simple as trying to explain populism to a dunderhead to go, what's wrong with populism? It's popular. You're like, exactly. They're standing in front of you, telling you what you want to say, vote here, and then it won't happen. Look at Trump with the JFK files. Look at Trump with the, I'm scared to even say it, the Vax Hoover Company stuff, because he was going to get JFK's brother to fucking look into that stuff. And then more recently the Epstein and whatnot, you know what I mean? Promises the fucking world, gets everybody in a lather, and then delivers sweet Fanny Adams.
Absolutely. And you see this mindset playing out, don't you? So it seems to be whoever's in whichever political party in these Western countries, if it's a period where the left's in, then you'll have the right pushing stuff against the left, and if it's a period where the right's in, you know, it's just... People seem to forget, don't they?
Well, look, mate,
democracy,
quick to forget.
You know, that's like
freedom. I mean, Sir Keir Starmer's just fucking wrapping up more about the Labour Party. I couldn't even remember what the Labour Party's leaders were. They were changing them so much, man.
Yeah.
You had... I'm not even joking. Truss. Who else did you have?
It's been a few, haven't there? Slips my mind now.
Mate, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You had Truss. That was that woman that looked like a witch. And then you had Bobo Johnson before that. Truss was in for a wee bit. And then you had that Romulan looking cunt. Sunak. Shushak, as I called him. That's Polish for penis. It really is. I had a Polish girlfriend and she had a Wayne. I know what on a side note, I started watching that new Star Trek, man. It's magic. It's just all the old characters fucking upgraded. But I mean the dehumanize. That word I'm struggling with. They genuinely dehumanize fucking people on the street. It's like I've been on Mars and I've been on Mars. But I'm on Mars right now, man, but I've been in worse spots, do you know what I mean? And if some cunt if you're sitting in the fucking corner of the street going like that, eating a donut, smoking a fag, or even have a quarter bottle, somebody goes up to you like, oh, what you doing smoking a fag? How can you afford to smoke a fag and drink a fucking drink? But like, here you, I just...
Yeah. It's sad. We've been talking about it, haven't we, in the WhatsApp group for a while, and sharing stuff, what's been happening, and they don't seem to realise, I mean, even the people watching this stuff who are like getting the rush off it, you know, and enjoying these interactions and people getting prodded with sticks. They're not realizing that some of these people are going through the worst times of their lives, whether that be through their own choice, you know, and mistakes that they've made that's led to where they are now. But I mean, they'll claim that they're helping them by exposing it and putting it online and making all these viral clips. It's going to help them, but it's going to push them further into isolation and just hide away and lead to more addiction and stuff. And at the end of the day, if you're going around the town, see, this is another thing. So it's like their argument is, oh, but what law? You know, people say, oh, it's against the law, stop filming me. And they'll say, well, what law is it? What law is it? Because there isn't a law and you can film in public. However, at what point does it become harassment and just pure common courtesy and respect for people? If you go up to people and say, do you mind being on film? You get a completely different response. But when people are just getting the cameras pushed to them, and then, you know, they might be under the influence of something, so they're going to react. Oh.
The reason I'm waving is because I've just realised there's people in the chat.
Oh, nice one.
And the tickety talk chat. No. So I just wanted to say thanks to Rangers and that name that I can't quite pronounce, Cal McPgen X72 artist.
Welcome.
Listen, it won't always look this bad. Once I jump through enough hoops for TikTok, I'll be able to do a proper stream, and like Big Marty will do, and he'll put that on his. Where's the predominantly place you're going to put it up on? The YouTubes, mate?
YouTube, yeah, definitely. Probably some clips on TikTok as well. But yeah, I mean, like I say, we said earlier, it's just the start, isn't it? We're gonna do some more stuff regular.
Mate, see for a maiden flight, man, I think the fucking technology's held up pretty well. It's still normally this plain sailing. The only way I fucked up is all the fucking warnings I was getting when I was trying to use the TikTok studio, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a bit funny like that, isn't it? If you've not used it enough, it stops you from doing things.
Well, to get you job, I think, I don't know what it is, man. Fuck knows. Can't understand Chinese
Yeah,
at the best of
just
times.
to keep the use up, isn't it? Just to keep you on it. They know what they're doing. But so do these auditors, as we were saying. And I mean, I'm not going to tar them all with the same brush, because, you know, like, I've seen Billy Moore do some good stuff in terms of approaching these people and actually talking to them with compassion and decency and trying to help them. And you know, I've got nothing but respect for that. But when they're shouting and swearing at people and raising the voice and then preemptively striking them because they're too close to them, you know, it's just like, yeah, it's crazy. And unfortunately, people don't realise that if the guy stood there with the camera and you do react, then suddenly you're the star of the show, and they're going to poke and prod to get as much reaction from you as possible so they can make their viral clips. That's how they make the money. That's their job, as they say. But unfortunately, I think it's leading down a dark path, and I think it could ultimately lead to a ban of filming in public, like in other countries, which nobody wants to see, because it's just about human decency and respect to say to people, do you mind being on film? You know.
Well, Martin, that idea you came up with the other day, like, let's go around the city of Manchester and do the anti-Charlie Veach kind of stuff. Yeah. And we were even joking today, like, get a bullhorn and stand 10 metres, 20 metres up the road for Charlie Veach and just start bullhorning them like, Charlie Veach, Ian Thompson, Regera here, reader all today. And then when they start coming to you, get the umbrellas out like, don't come near me, don't come near me. And then fucking have a few gorillas, a few cave trolls hanging about you, man, ready just to twat them when they invade your personal space, just like they do to cunts. And then let's see what happens. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen? You're going to get a slap in the wrist for us. It's not even going to be assault with an umbrella. Because I need my walking stick. I've got a dodgy hip. I need my walking stick. And then because I'm a videographer, I've got like a tripod, which could double as a mace.
Yeah, man. I don't think it'd get to that. I think people, like people on the street, I think they'd appreciate just a bit of decency, and especially some of these characters that have been subject to these viral videos. Like, I'd like to ask them off camera, with respect, do they want to talk about it? And if they do, just see the effects on them. What effects has it had on their life being subject to this viral video? I mean, the one thing I don't agree with, and which Billy Moore pointed out last week on one of his streams when we were all in the gardens, was you're poking people with a stick, you're winding them up, you're causing a reaction, and then when they do react, you're running straight to the police, and then getting them arrested, and then that's more content, isn't it, for the viral video and the thumbnail and stuff. And I just don't think it's helping. I mean, I can understand if a crime's being committed, or it's something, I'm fully with that, public filming and doing what they need to do, but just approaching people that are minding their own business, even if they're arguing amongst themselves, just maybe they're drunks or whatever, just leave them to it. They're not
exactly, mate.
Most of the time, they're not actually bothering the public. They're just doing their own thing until the guys with the cameras turn up, and that's the sad thing,
Do you know?
Dark path we're going down.
Do you know the funny thing is as well, mate? See, if you went up in a friendly manner and not like forcing your camera in their face and got to spoke to the people, they're the biggest character. They're not some of the biggest characters about the town you'll ever meet, man. I don't know. I can only speak for the Glasgow homeless community, man. But if you get one of those guys and you're sitting down having a friendly chat with them, it's hard to get rid of them because they've got so many stories. They're just bang back because they've lived off you don't end up in the street without living a life,
Yeah, and I like that stuff. I like watching them videos like where they have those sorts of interactions, where they're just explaining maybe what went wrong, and maybe the person with the camera's trying to give them a bit of inspiration, and hope and stuff. And that's, you've got to commend that, honestly. But I just don't agree with certain tactics that a few of these guys are using. I think it's wrong, and I think it's dangerous, because some of these people they're prodding, they might not have anything to live for. And in today's world, you poke somebody too far, like backing a dog into a corner, it's going to bite, you know what I mean? And then unfortunately that could lead to somebody being seriously injured or killed, and it's not a good thing, and I'm not advocating for that. I'm just saying, where does it lead? And that
you're playing your Mystic Meg. You're playing your Mystic Meg, buddy, and rightly so, mate. You can see it happening. If it's no people protesting outside of hotels, it's people protesting about them protesting, which blows my mind, man. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you turning up? Why are you turning up to like fucking poke them with a jobby stick?
Yeah.
Clips, jobby sticks.
And I'll definitely agree, like you say, with the protest stuff. We've talked about this recently. You'll always have like what they call the lefty renter mob. I'm not generalising all people on the left or all people on the right, but they're just as batshit crazy, aren't they? It's like, you're not helping the situation. Obviously, we can see that there's problems in Britain and there's things that are happening which shouldn't be happening, and it is a genuine concern for the general population, the shift and the change. However, that...
Have a good night, Cal.
Yeah, take care, mate. However, that is coming from the top down, isn't it? So those sorts of people, the left and right arguments, need to look at the politicians and the people pulling the strings and the lobbies, and why is society like this? Who's got the contracts for the migrant hotels? Who's making all the money off them? What inside deals are happening? And expose all that stuff, and people come together and... but it's not going to happen because, like we were saying earlier, these groups, left and right, they're usually controlled to a fashion, and they'll push certain narratives.
Mate, while them are blaming them, nobody's fucking looking at what the government's doing, which is cutting welfare and filing it into the military-industrial complex of the West right now, because we're at war, pretty much almost at war with China. They're talking about them invading Taiwan again. we're at war with Ukraine, which is Russia. Don't make any qualms about it. It was fucking... Oh, fuck off. Worst possible times, innit? It's always the worst possible times. Fuck. I haven't fucking lost my fucking bits and bobs. I've not lost it. I'm just...
It's alright.
I have lost it.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, man. Definitely.
Serious.
I just want us to bring some balance and common sense and a little bit of middle ground to everything that's happening. We're not ignoring the elephant in the room. We can see there's genuine problems and things happening that concerns us all. But I think if, like you say, we don't get that middle ground, come together, bang our heads together, what's the solution? You know, because people in these groups are calling for all-out violence across the streets of Britain. And you can see the sentiment in the comments, and you can see the things that are building up. And what's that going to solve, honestly? People think that, if they kick about the town and do enough damage and hurt a few people, that suddenly the government's going to say, oh, okay, you know, we're gonna ship all the migrants out tomorrow. It's not going to happen. You've got human rights and all sorts of things, and they're not taking that into account.
It's because they're
why
coming.
The government allowed it to happen. That's what we need to be asking.
I mean, it's like I agree with you. Like a middle ground is always a good place, but I even think something more important for that. If like I would like to even just suggest to the table is like you can be as far right as you fucking want. They can be as far left as you want. It doesn't mean you need to kick fuck with each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, have your fucking thoughts and feelings, but then live in a world in the reality that there's got to be compromise, and then there's a meeting kind of somewhere, normally kind of in the middle-ish, and then, like, mate, I've spoke to you about what I think's the solution and all that. It certainly isn't climbing the gates of Westminster. You'll just get mowed down with gunfire. You know what I mean? You need to take over the monarchy. There's like you can't just approach it for this pure ignorant place. Like just protest the fucking hotels, get them flung out, and we'll solve the problem. They're just moving the problem from there to there and diluting it even maybe more. Oh, look, I've teared my hair out, mate.
Right, honestly.
But it's for a place of ignorance, and then you're like, so what are you doing there? What's your point? I remember I started saying this. I was like, right, Tommy Robinson, what's your fucking manifesto and all that? And then he brought out a manifesto, and you read it. You're like, oh mate, man, that's like sounds like a takeaway menu to me, man. It's fucking ridiculous. But oh fuck.
Yeah. Will we have a caller?
That's my mobile phone going off there, man, and then my fucking WhatsApp. Mate, I'd get so many notifications on my shit that sometimes I just ignore them. It could be my mum dropping down deed, and I'm like, fuck it, it's probably just the BBC News telling me some crap. There's going to be a hot day in summer kind of idea, you know what I mean? Fuck's sake.
Yeah, it is. Like we've been saying, it's, you know, like this so-called left and right arguments. I feel like the truth's somewhere in the middle. And unless people come together and unite for a common cause, for, you know, the stability of Britain, then I think we're going nowhere. I really don't.
See, for me, it's the when politics in this country was kind of brought about, you had that's why you've got two sides of the house. There was only really two political parties, and they had one was for one side, one demographic, one was for the other demographic, and then they compromised, and there was swings and roundabouts. Now you've got every loon baller of a fucking asylum flung in there, man, so everything gets diluted down. Whereas, like, even look at the American system where it's like a kind of a European Cup knockout fucking situation, you know what I mean? You go through the rounds knocking motherfuckers out, and then there's two tribes go to war, and then there's one standing. And I'm all for that, man. I kind of say this tongue-in-cheek, but I kind of mean it, like, compared to the system we've got, in a sense. I would quite happily have, like, a democratically elected dictator. Whereas you vote this guy, woman in, and then they've got carte blanche to carry out their no, is it their manifesto? What do they call it when they're fucking putting the shit out before they get put in? No, their manifesto. That makes it sound mean. But the stuff the promises they make before they get elected should be set in stone, and then if they do get elected, they don't need to worry about fucking upsetting the public. They just bounce in with the bulldozers like woo woo and do what they're doing. There needs to be some checks and balances to kick fucking crackpots out, but otherwise give them carte blanche, man, instead of all this pussyfoot and watered down, because ultimately nothing gets done ever. And then if anything does get done, there needs to be a committee meeting about that, and then there's a committee meeting about that, and then there's and then fucking 8 years later, and everybody's forgot about it. Look at that post office. Look at the post office job. The biggest post office job in the world. A post office job used to mean a robbery. Now it means a fucking government bumping and scamming because of a fucking technical issue that used to, the blame would have got laid at some cunt's head that was protected. It's disgusting, man. That's off my chest, man. But it's two observations in it.
Yeah,
it's just a big scam, man.
I just don't know where we go from here, you know. But like you said, everyone's all the sides are so fragmented, and they can't understand that that's part of the bigger plan of divide and conquer. That's how empires have ruled for centuries. You know, that's part of the script. And everyone's being played and being dragged into camp A or camp B, pigeonholed. And I think we need to climb out of that, think outside the box. How do we get real change? What's the solution? And common flipping sense, man. What's best for Britain? And also, how can we change the dynamic in, say, like the Middle East and stop funding and supporting things that we don't necessarily need to mention, but you know, it's common sense.
See, this is the thing, Martin. I think it's too far gone in the sense that it's also interwoven with the big massive corporations that you would literally need a major catastrophe to wipe out all corporations, because they're all so interlinked. If you look at the military industrial complex, the reason it's called that is because you get the chips for Japanese, you put them in the fucking heats for fucking Poland, and then they go to France to get a wee fucking wing put on, and then they go to Britain to get fucking computerised. I'm generalising a wee bit there, but you get the point. They're just all fucking working with each other. I've got British aerospace engineers down there. It's pretty much Lockheed Martin. And they get all the publicity and stuff because of how big and gravitas they've been over the years. But just stick into your Google and Wikipedia page, arms industry, you'll see the long list. A lot of French companies, a lot of German companies, a couple of Spanish companies, all over the gaff, and they're all working. It's like when you hear about the tanks, what was the missiles they were given to Ukraine, and they're like, we're going to give these Ukrainian missiles, and they're like, if they come for the UK, they're called, oh, so true, sir, and if they fucking come for France, it's like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? They were the same fucking missile, just fucking coming out of different factories, because it's got the same semantics and plans and know-how and then engineering prowess. And that's what it is. It's about being able to engineer and produce on an industrial scale military products to fuel these wars. See that ceasefire that they just had in fucking Israel? I'm pretty sure, mate, that was just to restock the bombs and bullets. I'm like, oh, fuck. Abraham. Oh no, that's probably a... Why, where's my babbles over here, Abraham? I need my bullets. I need my bombs and bullets over here, Abraham. Bombs, bullets, and bagels. Yeah, that's a good one. Bombs, bullets, and bagels. That's actually quite a good one. But I honestly think that paused because we knew it was built, but I knew it was, me personally, I thought it was 110% bullshit when it started. And then it turned out to be bullshit because it didn't really start. And then they just restocked with their fucking love bombs and bullets and started again, went at it. Yeah. Oh, mate, it gives me a headache thinking of that area of the world.
That's how they do it. Yeah. That's and again, that's my argument with the right. well, what this, see, I'm generalising as well now, but what call themselves the right, Tommy's lot, Britain's First, all these groups, they seem to have a strong allegiance to this other nation. And from the rest of the world looking in, who's aware of what's been happening, not just taking it face value from what the mainstream media tells you, you just look like idiots. Absolute idiots. No common sense. And then that fuels left, and then it's all just fragmented and polarized, and it's crazy. But yeah, first and foremost is bringing some common ground to everything, some middle ground. But yeah, I don't know, we started on auditing and it kind of led into that, and I think that it is important because a lot of these auditor guys are also following these narratives, aren't they? You see them going to the demonstrations, like the pro-Palestine stuff, and some of the stuff they're saying and winding people up and using the talking points that the almighty Veach uses, and it's all just copy and paste and nonsense. To anyone with a brain cell who's been looking at the state of the world and investigating things and researching for decades, you just like, your credibility's gone. You don't seem to see the bigger picture, and if they only cared to look and rub two brain cells together, they might figure it out.
Do you want to hear my crazy solution for the Israel-Palestine problem? Right. Now, I couldn't give a flying fuck of the name of the gaff, right? But it's a one-state solution where we kick out all the we don't kick out, we disband all the IDF, disarm all the IDF, disarm all the Hamas and every other military fucking ball-bag in that area of the fucking world. And I'm talking about Team America or Captain Planet or whatever. Call in fucking one of those two entities to come in and sort it out. It would have to be a Western and Iranian clique-driven initiative, because they would need to work with each other, and you could call it fucking. I would call the country the Starship Enterprise. That's what I would call it. Do you know what I mean? Every cunt comes together, and there would be only one police force. Now it would take ages to fucking get this done, right? But like Jews, Arab, Muzzies, Christian, every 10 million different denominations that go into that area of the land would all be the same under this one administration whose leadership, a bit like the UN, you know, the way they play pass the parcel with fucking who holds the talking stick, not the jobby stick, but the talking stick, something along those lines. Because this two-state solution ain't going to happen anytime fucking soon. It's not going to happen. It's just perpetual warfare. It's almost like the solution is perpetual warfare. That's the way I see it, is when these dickheads offer that up. And this isn't a Jewish state. It's not a Palestinian state. It's not a Muslim state. It's not a Christian state. It's the fucking Starship fucking Enterprise. And the first guy that should be put in it should definitely, his name should be called Kirk. The fucking damn coon.
Yeah, that's it. It's a sad state of affairs, honestly. It really is. The sheer devastation and stuff is unreal. I have to switch off from it sometimes because I've looked at that side of the world for years, decades, as you know, and stuff on it. And yeah, it does get to you, man. So that's why when I hear some of these talking points and the arguments from some of these YouTubers, let's say, I just think, no, especially ones who know better. I mean, Veach knows better. Come on, the love police, anti-war, this, that, and the other. What was he just playing everyone the whole time from early on?
Aye, he was, mate. He was. Yeah. That's why he fell out with that. Do you know how his other his pal was
Danny Shine.
I think I might stand corrected, but as far as I'm aware, his pal Danny Shine was pro-Palestinian, and that's where some of their friction came from.
Yeah,
I might stand corrected, right enough.
Wouldn't surprise me.
But you know, we've not even spoke about the stuff that you found out about his bodyguard earlier on. Big, what's his name? Sadsak? No. Fred. Big Fred. He's a UFC boxer, isn't he?
Apparently, yeah. I think he's done a bit of that.
I only recently seen the footage, and it was for that other DJ Media or whatever his name is. What's his name again? I'll never get this right.
DJE.
DJE. Right, DJE Media. And like he was walking in front of Charlie, you know, catching the kudos for being with the big Veach, man. And then I seen these guys, man, I was like, oh, fucking hell, man. Like, see Tony, they're like Tony the Tiger, but their special ingredient is steroids and their fucking cornflakes in the morning, man. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, they could certainly handle themselves, I'll give them that, but I just feel that some of the incidents that I've seen have been a little bit too far or a little bit too soon, or, you know, and then who says where that space is, you know, what line do you have to cross? Because I'm pretty sure somebody has to like make a move or appear to be about to strike. I'm sure just if they're stood in front of you, it doesn't mean you can hit them. But maybe it depends on the context. I don't know.
Why are the cops not doing a thing? That's what's fucking weirdoing me out. I know that I know if I'm being a fucking fan, Dan, right, and like, and there's a cop about, they'll at least come up to you and go, you know, do the Ross and Rachel thing or whatever, the Russian one, I can keep it down a wee bit. You know what I mean? They might not arrest you or anything, but Big Veach is just bouncing about like the big unfriendly, the big bug, the big unfriendly giant.
Do you know what? I wouldn't have a problem with him if he was a respectful person doing what he does. Maybe ask people if they're getting agitated. Do you mind being on film? All right, okay. Well, I'll go over here then, and just get on with his day. Because most people probably aren't bothered. But you know, it's usually like we say the ones that are going through a bad time in life at the lowest, and yeah, they're having cameras in places to be in potential viral videos that family members are going to see, bringing shame on them, leading to more depression, isolation, addiction. And I just don't think it's helping. Like, fair enough if you want to go and talk to them and say, look, do you mind talking? And like Billy does, put the mic on them and have a normal chat to them like a compassionate human being, then I don't have a problem with that. I mean, there will be instances, to be fair, that maybe when these guys are walking around on camera just filming the scenery or whatever, and they catch someone on the camera, maybe just because they're there and they can't avoid it, and then people start getting aggy with them, you could just be like, oh, sorry about that, yeah, you don't want to be on film, no worries. And then fair enough if they're still coming at you, yeah, you want to film it, you need some evidence and stuff, but I think there's just a fine line, and I think some of the tactics these guys are using are really starting to piss off people in the city, definitely. And like I say, what's it going to lead to? Nobody wants to see anyone get hurt, but if they carry on behaving the way that they are, anything could happen, couldn't it?
Well, mate, I'm going to sound like the big lefty that James Goddard thought I was the other night, man. Sometimes I look at them and I'm saying, are they victims of this internet windy-licking fucking generation that we're in right now? You know, where people... It's very... I would argue it's very similar to drugs, in the sense those hits, those clicks, it's giving you a dopamine release in your head, and all the good comments. Oh, yes, oh, look how great I am. Messiah complex, I think it's been called in the past, isn't it, man? They actually start believing their own bullshit. They really believe they're fucking actually like the next coming, the Messiah. In fact, you've seen people through history go to that place where they think they're the next god and all that kind of shit. Yeah. Maybe this is an effect. I've had it to a certain extent myself. When I fucking first got on the YouTubes and I was getting lots of hits and clicks and all that. And lots of money as well, by the way, like the rats and the maize and the cheese and the trees, like Edward Bernays, it's for your porn, and so I'm not excluding myself for this. I just thank fuck managed to pull myself out it, or realise what was going on to a certain extent, especially with the cult of personality, in the sense that everybody was just gravitating towards their own wee hit buckets and clicks, and then if you were in a circle, it was really hard to like criticise that dude because you didn't want to upset the person or go against the group.
Yeah. That's it. I mean, I fully agree. We live in like a live stream society now, don't we? It's very popular thing. So you're in a city and stuff. People are filming themselves walking about and stuff. No issue with that whatsoever. Or filming the scenery, but just have some respect for people. Maybe they're going through a bad time, maybe they've got some sort of trauma or social anxieties or disorders. I mean, I've even seen it with people that are clearly on the spectrum and got some issues, you know, and these guys are poking and prodding and upsetting them and causing them alarm and distress.
Was that you that shared that?
Strike out, then it's police, 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 and that's
Was that you that shared that in the room the other day, Marty? And yeah. It was big Feature Boy bouncing up to a big lad, and you could clearly see like he was, as you're saying, like the polite word on the spectrum. Back in the day, we would just say learning difficulties, but it's the spectrum now, whatever. And he started fucking going, "How dare you speak to your mother like that?" And it was just like
boy,
it was
tried to slap his mum or something, and he's like, "Don't you hate your mother?" Don't. I mean, I could understand if that was maybe a different situation, but the boy was clearly, you know, had a condition, and even his mum saying, "Just leave him, stop, like leave my boy alone," kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, I think he even put the caption, "Was I wrong for this?" You know, in the shorts clip. So he knows rightly that it's a controversial thing, and many people might agree and say, yeah, there's some of these kids on the spectrum just need more discipline. They just need telling off more and putting in the place, and they're not taking into account like, "We shall take over the people that are inferior for us."
That's my best Nazi accent.
You know, if it's a severe condition, then the neurological things are affected and how they respond and process things. Whereas that mum would have probably talked to the boy later on and said, "You know, you shouldn't really have done that when things are calm, and have a respectful chat about it." But there's, yeah, that's just one incident out of hundreds. And I will say, I am quite disgusted as well at the DJ Media, because a couple of nights ago he put up a video, and it was this attack, this fight that had happened. He just got there after the fact, just on the outskirts of Piccadilly Gardens, and there's a guy lying on the floor, and the police, I think, were doing chest compressions on the guy, you know, and he's filming it, clearly filming it. I mean, as soon as he's seen the blue lights and the commotion from a distance, he's running. "Oh, I've got to get the views, got to get there quick.
Ambulance chaser.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just not giving the guy on the floor respect, and the police woman saying to him, "Look, just give the guy a bit of dignity, you know, he's clearly dead at this moment." I think they did get him back to life and put him in the ambulance, but it was just the way he kept saying, I'm not getting him on film. I'm not. Next second, got him on film again. And then there was another incident with a crazy woman on a bike. Oh, I mean, that's probably not nice of me to say it like that, but she was a bit off her head, and she's just been really provocative and being an absolute nuisance to the police, which, I mean, they should have probably dealt with it a bit earlier. But she's calling DJ out for what he's doing and mentioning the Veach stuff and everything, and she does follow him about for ages, but there's a few incidents where she's filming him, like, you know, and they don't like it, these guys, you know, when
Martin, can I pause you for 1 second, right, because I need to fucking learn the tickety talk world, because somebody's just gave me a heart and a donut.
Oh, nice.
I don't know what that means, but
it's like a gift, isn't it?
Cal McP, thank you very much. It's just like I've seen when the first times I started joining lives, and people would start speaking to ghost people, and I didn't know what was happening. And then it took me a while to realise they're speaking to the people that are gifting them and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. So that woman on her bike was going nuts.
Yeah, and there was a point where she's getting a bit close to him and stuff, and he's pushing her back. And then there's another lad, I'm not sure who he is, but he was dressed in the grey tracksuit. If you look back at the video, and he's got his
seen
mask
that
on
picture.
and everything, and it appears that he's got a bit more common sense, you know, and he's telling DJ to like just, you know, show some restraint, step back. He keeps going towards a woman, then he starts following her about and antagonizing, just making the situation worse. And this lad's just saying, look, just leave her alone, you know, step back. And he's like, I will push you. Come on, I will push you. And it made me think, and I was looking into like the self-defense laws and stuff. And apparently, if you invite the trouble, then it's a whole different story.
It's like you're held liable for it.
You can't say to someone, come on then, hit me then. And then go crying wolf. It's even in the UK law. Do you know what I mean? So if it gets to a severe case and stuff, those things would be taken into
account. I hope
there's poking and prodding, saying, "Come on, then, do it," and then they do it, and then they hit them and they bang their head. They're not going to get off scot-free. Do you know what I mean?
I hope in the legalese dictionary it says the boy that cried wolf. The boy that cried wolf clause.
Yeah, but I know this is going to be controversial, and we'll probably get all the cult of Beach and DJ on board. But you know, it's not right. Something's got to give. People need to start showing a bit more respect for people out in public, especially those down on the luck. Like I say, if they're in the middle of committing a crime, or you think crime's about to happen, and you do what you got to do. Do you know what I mean? But to preemptively start the trouble and bring an issue where there sometimes, and most of the times, isn't one, it's not good. It's not good.
Martin, I would dare to suggest you might have watched a wee bit more of his content and whatnot than me over the years, right? Definitely read most of the comments, because you can read better than me, that's for sure, right? But the point I was going to make, some of the comments I've seen have been pointed out to me is like, one of the last ones was, why don't you come down to South London and try that? Right, I'd done one myself when I was up at Drum Chapel, up at Drum. It was like, why don't you come up to Drummy, Charlie Veach? Why don't you bounce about here? Even your fucking MMA or fucking whatever fucking ball bags bouncing about, man, you're going to get a fucking shone off put your fucking chip. Yeah. Especially if...
Like, you know, like, he's got the bodyguards now, hasn't he? I mean, why doesn't he venture into areas at night, you know, like the rough areas where you've got the gangs hanging about and the real things taking place, and the muggings and, you know, just hot spot areas? They would never do that, because they know all these lads ballied up and that wouldn't think twice of attacking them. And obviously threat assessment and stuff, it's wise that they don't do that. However, don't go and play Billy Big Balls to a load of homeless people who are drunk out of skulls.
Mate, you've heard me talk about this before, I'm sure, but when he came up to Glasgow, I know the exact place he went to, right? It's underneath a railway bridge for a reason, because it obviously protects the homeless for the rain when they're getting fed. So there's usually a fucking nightly soup kitchen up there, and that's where Charlie Veach ended up. And then, like, the video I've seen, right, so I've never seen the full content text, but what I seen was this wee woman walking by him, right, and she was going along Argyle Street, walking away from him, and she just made it, you're a poverty tourist, and then he started getting on his heels and chasing her. Am I what? I can't we can't listen to this. This tells you a lot about what's going through his head. He said, we can't understand you. He was acting like the Bjorg, because what are you going to say to 250,000 people? That's why I think he's a big fucking Harry Hoofter as well, by the way. Fucking... Yeah,
he uses that all the time. To do that, 200,000 people will see this. Let's see what they think. Yeah. Come on, mate. Okay,
I know, it's
you see the way he is now from the way he appeared to be back in the early days, and most people who have, you know, all these sort of newer age subscribers, some of them probably wasn't even born like in the early days of Charlie Veach on YouTube. But
Bill Horn right next to him, Charlie Veach and Ian Tomlinson. We could get a wee song together, man, easy peasy, man. And just see until how long it takes them to attack us. out with the tripods, lads! Oh, that would be ironic, them getting battered to death with fucking tripods while trying to film you.
We don't want to see anything like that, obviously.
Oh, of course not,
just
man.
Funny,
It's just tongue in cheek, man. Irony.
Yeah. Just confirm that for the tickety-tocketies.
And if it does happen,
you know what?
I only need £100 for the fucking lottery numbers.
Honestly, like, at least we've got a bit of decency and respect and that, because some of these guys, they just got no decency, no human decency, and it's apparent from the very words that they use with members of the public and interactions. Just no respect.
Crackies. That crackies, that's the most recent one I've heard. Now there's another cracky. Do you know what I mean? You're just pointing over the street, just pointing at somebody. There's a cracky there, then walking up to them with a fucking camera, mop-handed, with these big fucking cunts that look like that, man. You're going to be intimidated, fight or flight, and they're going to be probably like that out their tin, like that. Yeah, fuck you. Oh, mate, it really annoys me, man. Like yourself, I just need to switch off. It's like Palestine, man. You switch off. It went beyond the realms of bizarreness about 5 years ago for me, and I'm like, right, nobody's doing anything about this quite authentically. Nobody was grabbing it with the balls authentically. It was just one big merry-go-round, death after death after, there's a wee bit of peace, death after death after death, and at the whole time land was just evaporating left, right and centre. Predominantly the Palestinian land, and it's almost as if it was one big plan, but they like playing the long game. You know, I mean, we're all thinking in 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 years war. They're like that. 50 years won't take us to do this. You know what I mean? So what's that? It was 6, 7 that fucking hellhole started, and fast forward, 60, 70, 80, I think it's 75, nearly 80 years in it. Israel's have been about now.
Is it?
So it's not even 100 years, and look what's...
And it's sad, it is sad, and you know, we've talked about this before many times over the years, and where's the common sense? Like, if there's blatant war crimes happening, and blatant starvation and murder and stuff like that, speaking out against that, how does that make you an Islamic sympathizer or a Hamas supporter? It's like, where's the common decency? I mean, I'm sure the Palestinians, most of them couldn't give a shit about Hamas. They're not some democratically elected party. In fact, Israel put them in place as opposition to the PLA or the PLO, whatever they were called. That was their solution to destabilize the system over there. And Hamas was the useful idiots that was propagated, funded, gave $1.4 billion, apparently, according to Israeli officials, which I've seen video of them saying. And that was, they were given that in cash so they could be a real force in opposition to the PLA, and then they lost power of Gaza. So it divided the West Bank Gaza thing. So they were just useful idiots at the start, just like all these factions in Syria and these terror proxy armies. They're all useful idiots. Just like these left-right cultists, Pied Pipers, they're all useful idiots. And it's like, where do you go when you see the insanity on all sides? Where do you go from here, man? But hopefully, as we carry on with this series, we'll work out some sort of solution, or at least make people aware of not falling into this left-right trap.
Have you ever, can you remember or ever heard me talking about my crackpot conspiracy theory about Israel?
No.
It should be all right with it will be all right with the censors, right? Now, there's no trick questions here, Martin, but just play with me, right? So, in your eyes, who created Israel? Who does everybody think created Israel?
Well, it was British controlled Palestine, wasn't it? So I think the Balfour Declaration and... Yeah.
You're too good, mate. You're too good. You're meant to say Rothschilds, man. That was the correct...
That Balfour Declaration was about 10, 15 miles from where I live. The document was actually signed, so yeah, I know about it.
Mate.
That was 1918, so that was like way before, wasn't it? But that's what's led to it.
You're too good, man. I was wanting you to see Rothschild because everybody just jumps down the Rothschild hole. But
Right.
you're exactly right. The Balfour Declaration, thus called because of Lord Balfour. Right, Lord Balfour was a Scottish lord. If you look at his lineage, related to Robert the Bruce, who was in cahoots with the Knights Templar, who loved fucking Jerusalem, who swore an oath to allow free passage of Christians from Christendom, Europe, pilgrimage, that's the word I'm looking for, to Jerusalem, right? And they hated Jews because the word on the land was the Jews killed the baby Jesus. So Lord Balfour, who was listen to this, was Scotland a church going anti-Semite, right? He was the one whose signature brought the legal state of Israel into creation. So everything that came before, all the arguments, X, Y, Z and all that stuff, it was Lord Balfour with Rothschild, who was the son of the city of London, whose shield is the red shield, which is a sign of the Knights Templar, and Lord Balfour, who's a relation of Robert the Bruce, who apparently was in cahoots with the Knights Templar to win the Battle of Bannockburn to fuck up the English. Right? So wow. my theory is the Jews have kind of been, because like you know yourself that you're probably aware that Corbyn got kicked out the Labour Party for stating the historic fact that fucking the Zionist Party was no colluding, but they were in discussions with Hitler's Nazi Party about where to send the Jews. Should it be Ethiopia? Should it be Palestine? Should it be Egypt? Should it be this in the Sinai Peninsula that we're talking about? And that's why, because that's too much truth for people to, you can't handle the truth. But Lord Balfour started it, right? Lord Balfour, I would say that religious oaths come from a very Christian religious fucking orders, and their orders were, for time immemorial, was to facilitate the movement of Christians from Christendom to the Holy City. They hate the Jews, so what did they do? They created Zionism to round up the Jews, stick them in Israel, and use them as a standing army to get the Muslims out, to kick out the Ottoman Empire. And that was pre-World War One, as you said, and then World War One kicked off, we got more land. World War Two happened, and boom shakalaka, we've got our enclave, Cyprus and Israel. So I know it's not that I'm saying what Israel and the Zionists are doing isn't bad. What I'm saying is they're puppets of the Christians that are like because they don't give a fuck how many Jews die in the protection of that land, man. Throw them on the fucking pyre. You know what I mean? Just leave us Christians alone. And in the meantime, Christians have safe passage to Jerusalem, like that, no problemo, nobody's going to bomb us, we're all good. Which those Teutonic orders, which is just one of the orders, but all those medieval orders which existed, many of them, by the way, most of them swore their oaths to facilitating the safe passage of pilgrims, Christian pilgrims, from Christendom, Europe, to Jerusalem. So there's my craziness at me, man. So it's a bit different. It's a bit different, but
I'm sure there's some truth there, definitely.
Mate, it's just me fucking
is that the thing, isn't it? It's like you can blame them or blame them, but ultimately I think it's like that saying, everyone wants to rule the world. So there's a lot of infighting, and at the top of these religious organisations and factions, there's nefarious people that want to dominate. I mean, if you do enough studying into religious texts, and let's just use the Abrahamic religions, the Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and you'll find, if you look into them deep enough, that they all have prophecies that end in each religion dominating over everyone else. So it's like they're all interconnected, intertwined, and for me, you know, you could say, oh, it's them and it's them, and I'd say it's everyone. It's everyone. a lot of factions involved. There's a lot of greed. Everyone wants power, wealth, control. There's a lot of collusion, of course. But like you were saying with the corporations and stuff, there's so many people in on it, you know, and everyone wants to make money. So it's sad. It really is sad, and I think they use religion to divide people and push agendas.
I don't think there's.
If you want to know more, look into the end times prophecies of each religion, study them, and then look at the world, what's happening, and you might be able to connect some dots. Not to say that, oh yeah, these prophecies are coming true, but you'll realize how certain things are self-fulfilling, or they've been designed to happen this way. So it appears that the end is nigh and all that stuff, you know. Because there's people in there, they're like, oh, you know, there's the big religious war coming. I mean, look at Donald Trump on Joe Rogan. One of the key things he said to him was, you know, Joe, it's prophesied that the world will end and there'll be a big religious war in the Middle East.
Did he? Is that the word?
You know that, Joe, right? Yeah, that's what he said when he was on Joe's podcast.
How long ago was that?
Just before, well, I think the podcast dropped the week before he was in power or something like that. So maybe December-ish, possibly. But yeah, there was a lot of samples of it cutting about. You can find it. He's like, yeah, you do know, Joe, that the world's... there's a prophecy that the world will end and big religious war in the Middle East. You do know that, Joe, right? Yeah, of course, because these nut jobs who are pulling the strings in the world are trying to make these things happen and self-fulfill these prophecies to justify things and keep the control going. And yeah, so I'd say they're all as bad as each other.
Joe Rogan.
That's what gets me when it's like you'll speak out for maybe things happening in Gaza, and then straight away they're pushing you to, oh, you're a lefty, oh, you're this, oh, you're that, oh, you're a sympathizer, blah. And it's like, no, not at all. I can just see how you're all being played, and ultimately it's a fight versus good versus evil, isn't it? That's, if you break it down, greed and evil men that are just pulling strings for their own reasons, and that should resonate with people like Tommy Robinson and all those people on that side who are seeing the dismantling of British society and the destabilization purpose thing that's going on, you know. And you look into who all these elites are and the prophecies, it's like, oh, hold on, wait a minute. You know, just common sense.
Yeah, well said, mate, well said. Well said. Mate, I think we've done brilliant for a maiden flight, and I think that's about an hour we've done.
Oh, wow. Cool.
That was easy peasy.
Yeah. So,
we don't want to be giving away the meaning. Well, moving forward, same kind of setup when I managed to get a TikTok working long enough for it to fucking work. Need to figure out how you can read the TikTok comments as well. It's obviously not undoable. It's obviously very easy.
Yeah, I mean,
doable.
I could open TikTok on my browser and then just watch your...
It's just there was people giving me presents and shit, and I didn't really know, and like I didn't want to ignore them. And when I've watched previous lives and all that, I've seen them, you know, fucking jibber jab. But 100 people came in. Don't know how many stuck about.
Oh, nice.
But I get 2 presents, and I don't know really what that means.
Yeah, well, I'd just say for my end and my recording and stuff, I'll just do a little tie-up thing.
Hold on. I'm going to end this. I forgot to end it. Thank you, right. Tickety Talks. Maybe he's watching anyway, and TikTok's just a